happens is when you get you know, too excited, when you create peaks, then you can also create valleys. All right. So I need your help tonight so that I stay level. I don't get too pumped up. I don't get too excited. We want to temper people's expectations and move forward with cautious optimism. So help me. So I won't swing around the chandeliers. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Well, good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our Is It Crap? Is it crap or is it gold webinar? And of course, we don't know. We don't know either way just yet. We won't know until the system goes live, until people get paid. They get paid on time and what have you. So anyone saying it's crap, that's premature. Anyone saying that it's gold, I think that's premature. But at the same time, given that there are no, there's no financial risk, I think it makes a lot of sense for us to begin to share with our audience and for you to share with your audience about THW. I keep saying TH Global. Sometimes I forget the W. Queen, I'm hearing some background noise. Yeah, Queen, that was, yeah, I was hearing some staticky stuff. Okay. All right, let's make sure everyone can still hear me. In your questions box, I want to make sure everyone can hear me because I can't hear Queen now. Can you guys hear me out there? Put a yes or a Y in the questions box. Fantastic. Okay. All right. Somebody said I'll even take some crappy gold. Hey, Dr. Chris, good to see you, buddy. Okay. All right. So we of course a week ago something came across our desk, THW Global. We weren't very impressed with the website or any of that stuff, but the things that we read made sense to us. And so with cautious optimism, we have moved forward. And we continue to put our disclaimers out there. Okay, we continue to put our disclaimers out there. But the reason this makes sense for us to start sharing this is because there is no financial risk. Our biggest risk is that people get excited and then the company doesn't come through. Now, there's been some questions as to whether or not the company is a scam or what have you. And I want to address, I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. Now, there'll be a question about execution. Will they be able to do what they say that they're going to do? And that's something we're just going to have to wait and see about. The reason we didn't want to sit back and just wait on this is because if what they're talking about, if they come through, and if you're new and maybe you just registered or you haven't even registered, we're going to go, in kindergarten. We're going to go in preschool. We're going to finger paint tonight. We're going to give you the basics so you understand what's going on for the first part of the webinar. And then the second part of the webinar, we'll ratchet up a little bit and preferably get a chance to talk to you about how to turn this into a 6 or maybe even a 7-figure enterprise. Well, what we did last week, we sent out an email saying we're going to have this webinar. 2 hours before we did the webinar, we sent out a webinar. Is it crap? Is it gold? Don't know. Let's see. Let's get folks registered, and we'll get a chance to find out. Well, I sent an email out, and one of the dudes in my email list responded back to me, and he said, hey, I had seen this. I was going to, test it out, try it out. Who knows? But since I know you're doing it, send me your link. This is a big asterisk, okay? You want to have a list. We'll talk more about that in the second part of the webinar. You want to have a list that you own and control. This guy was in my email list. In the first 24 hours, this dude personally enrolled 192 people. He personally enrolled 192 people in the first 24 hours. Why? Because he had an email list. But had I not started sharing this, even with my disclaimers, he would have joined THW, but he would have joined with someone else. Now, he's got a dude that he personally enrolled that has over 125 personal enrollees from the last time I saw. And our team right now is getting close to 3,000 And, you know, his team is several hundreds of that. So my point is, this is why we want to do this webinar, even though we don't have complete evidence that it's gold. We certainly don't have evidence that it's crap either. And I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing. But what I need to do right now is I need to just kind of take a step back and walk through this for our new folks that maybe aren't even registered, maybe just taking a look at, you know, what's this THW thingy all about? Or maybe someone has just gotten registered, but they, you know, they don't really know what they registered for. It was free, so they just got registered, but they don't really know what's going on. So let's bring you up to speed. Now, I will tell you right now, we don't have any pretty presentation stuff, no pretty slides and all that good stuff. But this is a simple enough concept for us to be able to do from what I like to call my whiteboard. Okay, so here's the deal, all right? THWGlobal, this comes from the email, the confirmation email that I received last week when I registered. THWGlobal, THW standing for 10 hours weekly, all right? THWGlobal, their focus is advertising. Advertising is a $650 billion global industry, okay? $650 billion. Okay, now, what's happening now? If you think of TV advertising as an example, all right, and I gave this example, I think, on Tuesday night when we did a webinar. I love my NFL football. Next month, training camp starts. August, we're going to have preseason. And then September, my Steelers are going all the way, and they're going to win a 7th Super Bowl. All right. Now, so I get my NFL network so I can watch every game that I want to watch. But here's the thing that I do is if there is a game that starts at 1 p.m. U.S. East Coast time, I'll record it. But I won't start watching it at 1 o'clock. And the reason I won't start watching it is because I know I have to watch the commercials. And I don't want to watch those commercials while I'm watching my football game. All right. So what I'll do is I'll record it and I'll sit down and watch it on the recorded basis, 45 minutes, maybe an hour after it started. Why? Because then I fast forward through the commercials. Now, why did I say that? Why did I bring that up? Because $78 billion is currently spent on TV advertising in the U.S. But that $78 billion that's spent is not having the impact that it used to have. Because of technology, people don't have to watch all of those commercials all of the time. And a lot of money is now shifting in terms of advertising to things like mobile, the internet, and things of that nature. Okay. So now what THWGlobal's game plan is to capture 1% of this industry in the next 3 years. So you've got a $650 billion industry, what will ultimately be a $1 trillion industry. And $1 trillion is a lot of money. Now, I don't know how you substantiate this, but I heard this a long time ago when I first got in the industry. Gentleman said if you were to take a dollar bill, stack it one on top of each other, $1 trillion would take you to the moon, bring you back, and you'd still have some change left over. Now, I don't know how you substantiate that, but you know, I've heard a couple of people that I respect say that. So we'll go with that at least for the webinar. Okay. All right. So advertising is a huge industry. Now, what we've seen in the home business industry, the network marketing industry, is we have seen online advertising revenue sharing companies, right? And many of you are familiar with those. The way that works, this is not what THW Global is. It's what I thought initially when I just saw advertising. So I want to make sure you understand the difference between the two. So when I first came online in 2008, what I saw companies that said, hey, if you will view advertisements, you can buy out of your pocket something called advertising packs. And then when you view advertisements of others, then you get a rebate of your advertising pack. So let's say you bought $100 worth of advertising packs. When you would view other people's advertisements, you would get a rebate. And ultimately, you might get back $1.20 or $1.25. If it costs you $1 to have your ad viewed, maybe you ultimately earn $1.20 or $1.25. All right, that was called advertising revenue sharing. Now, what we've seen is that that whole revenue sharing model is exciting, but it has come under extreme scrutiny, extreme fire from a regulatory standpoint. And many of those companies that have an advertising revenue sharing model, ultimately they do well for a while and then they kind of crash and burn. So when I first saw advertising, that was my immediate thought process. Oh, this is one of them their things. Okay. But a buddy of mine who I've done business with since 2008 and I have tremendous respect for, he sent it to me, so I started reading further. And when I read further, I saw, oh, this doesn't appear to be one of them their thingies at all. Okay, give me a moment. I need to go. Give me just a moment here. There's something I forgot to bring up, so bear with me. Bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let's move here. Okay. All right. So, but the more I started to read their content, the more things started we started to see a much bigger picture. Okay. They talked about traditional advertising is dying and many traditional media outlets have flatlined. However, they are still selling $73 billion a year worth of ads. Primarily, they're talking about TV ads there. The TV ad market is still growing, but it's flatlining. More and more is going towards mobile. More and more is going towards the internet. And so they said, ask yourself the following question regarding guaranteed eyes and ears on visual commercial ads. Take any one of the Fortune 500 companies' advertising budget, and even if it's $1 million a week, there is not one TV, radio, magazine, newspaper, traditional advertising company that can guarantee eyes and ears, and will see and hear the advertisement. So what THW is doing is, instead of, let's say, YouTube, this is like YouTube in reverse, where what happens is people go to YouTube and they view a lot of content. Advertisers are on YouTube, big businesses on YouTube, marketers are on YouTube, but it's not just marketers, obviously. The bulk of the advertising revenue is not coming from people that are promoting a network marketing deal or some internet marketer who's trying to sell a product or trying to sell a coaching program. The overwhelming majority of their ad revenue is coming from big business. Geico's of the world, Allstate of the world, McDonald's of the world, okay? And so what THW is saying, look, all this money is being made by, let's say, YouTube. YouTube was purchased for, I think, $1.6 billion, but it's now worth about $70 billion to Google. Google purchased YouTube. All right, so here's the idea. Here's the concept. How about we actually pay, we being THW, how about we pay viewers to view content? Let's call it promotional content. What's promotional content? Essentially commercials, advertising, movie trailers, and we might even comment on those. There might even be some surveys and what have you. What if we paid people to watch these advertisements so that we could go to big businesses and get contracts where they will advertise through our medium, because we can guarantee that people are going to actually see the advertisement. See, when McDonald's does a commercial, when Allstate does a commercial, when Geico does a commercial, when I'm watching my U.S.-based football, all right, I know across the world football is, what we call in the U.S. soccer, but when I'm watching my Steelers beat up on those Dallas Cowboys, yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it, you Cowboy fans. Yeah, I said it. All right. When I'm watching my Steelers beat up on the Cowboys, I'm going to bypass the commercials. But now I have an incentive with THW Global to not only watch commercials, but watch up to 10 hours a week worth. Now, why would I do that? Because they're paying me to do that. And it's likely that as I view that content, as you view that content, Mark G, Melanie, as you view that content, there might be something that you decide, hey, I want to go to their website. Hey, I want to buy that thing. Or maybe they just plant the seed so that when you get hungry, you want a Big Mac. Okay. Now, doesn't that just make sense? These advertisers are going to spend billions of dollars anyway, Linwood. You get that, buddy? Lionel, they're going to spend billions of dollars anyway. Someone asked me the question, well, where's the money coming from that they're going to pay? Because these advertisers are going to spend billions of dollars anyway. But with the THW model, they will now have people that are vested in viewing their commercials. Now, let me stop there for just a moment. Does that make sense? Someone said we lost audio. Is my audio? Can you guys hear me? Okay. Okay. All right. All right. If what I just said makes sense to you, put a yes or a Y in your questions box. That makes sense. I want to see if that makes sense. I need some more yeses. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right. So now that should help us understand where's the money coming from. Think about how much money is spent on one 30-second ad during a Super Bowl. What is it? $3-4 million? Okay. So do these companies have huge ad budgets? Yes, that's probably the bulk of their expenses are ad budgets. And they're spending millions upon millions upon millions of dollars in advertising. And think this through, all right? Let me tell you who could have done this. Let me tell you, YouTube could have done this. Facebook could have done this. I mean, Facebook really could have done this. Why? Because Facebook already has the demographic information. When you sign up with Facebook, what are you giving them? You're giving them data. Your name, your age, are you married? All this stuff that they ask you, all right, is so that they can get demographic data so that, and then when you like in Facebook, what you're doing when you like a post or what have you, that's going into an algorithm. So Facebook knows what ads to serve you when you go into Facebook. When you go into Facebook and you're looking through your news feed, there are ads there. There's sponsored ads. People are paying to be in your news feed. When you go into Facebook, on the right-hand side, there are ads there. Well, how did those ads get there? What Facebook did is it gathered information about you. It gathered information when you clicked a like or when you watched the video inside of Facebook or what have you. And they said, oh, this person is interested in weight loss. So then when advertisers that want to advertise weight loss products, those ads show up in your news feed. Those ads show up on the right-hand side, so on and so forth. Now, Facebook isn't sharing any of that income. Facebook's not paying any of us. Now, obviously, you could be an investor in Facebook and you could buy Facebook shares and maybe you're able to profit that way. But Facebook's not doing that. Now, they very well could, but hey, why would they do it now? They're making billions upon billions of dollars. They don't have to do that. What THW is saying, well, what we want to do is we want to capture a percentage of that advertising market share. They're not saying we're going to be Facebook tomorrow. They're not saying we're going to be YouTube tomorrow, but they see that, hey, look at all these other social networks that came out of nowhere. Instagram, where did that come from? They came out of nowhere. And we're already growing at a clip in terms of registered users that will eclipse even the fastest growing of those social networks. So when you start looking at it from that perspective, for me, it's not is it a scam? For me, it is execution. Will they be able to execute? I don't know. We won't know that until they go live, one, and then until, we start requesting money. Do we get paid? Do we get paid right? Do we get paid on time? And if those things happen, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Then we can say it's gold. But why wait to start to share this message and potentially lose some folks that can be in your organization to help you really grow your organization? So hopefully that part right there helps you understand the fact that this could be gold. All right, this could be gold. Where's the money coming from? Well, from advertisers. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you what I want to see when we actually start viewing the ads. And they're saying July 4th. I will caution you. I've been with a lot of companies, been in this industry since 1994. A lot of companies that are in pre-launch and will give a launch date. And a lot of times that launch date isn't something happens, you know, technologically or what have you. All right. So if it's not July 4th, we're not going to sit here and say, I knew that thing was crap. Well, at least I'm not going to. Okay. So we'll see what happens around July 4th, if we'll be able to start viewing and all of those good things. Now, let's talk about how you are compensated from viewing. Then we're going to talk about what happens if you dare share this with others. And then we're going to talk about what happens if you actually start to build an organization. You're not required to build an organization. You're not required to do any marketing. You're not required to tell anyone. I think you're going to be hard-pressed not to, especially if we find out it's gold. Okay, so now let me show you how this works. I feel a cough coming on. Let me get a little swig of water. Excuse me just a moment. By the way, I see a lot of names I know not of, a lot of names that I've never seen before. So welcome to our webinars here. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. There's three numbers that you want to focus in on: 25, 5, and 1. $25, 5, and 1. Let's deal with the $25 first and foremost. All right, so THW is going to pay up to $25 an hour, with a maximum of 10 hours weekly. That's what the THW stands for a maximum of $250 weekly. Now, they sent out a post, and by the way, when you go to THW's website, even if you're going to log in, you're going to see, I've blown this up to make this easy for you to see, but you're going to see where it says updates and announcements. And under general updates, I believe it was either general updates or team leader updates, it goes through what does that up to $25 mean. Essentially what happens is they take a look at the average wage or the average minimum wage in a particular country. So the average minimum wage in the U.S. is a lot higher than the average minimum wage in Panama or in Malaysia or in the Philippines. Whatever that average wage is, they multiply it times 2, and that is the up to amount in that particular country. So it may be up to $25 in the U.S. It might be up to $10 in the Philippines. If you're here and you're a Filipino, don't say, oh, crud, because obviously if you live in the Philippines, you know, if you've ever been in the U.S., that the average wage, average daily wage, average weekly wage in the Philippines or in the Dominican or in Panama or in Malaysia is much lower than it would be in the U.S. So that wage, that times 2, should still be very attractive, particularly when people don't have to go and work hard. They're working from the privacy of their own home. They could even be on their mobile devices viewing this promotional content. Okay. Now I'm going to use, for the purposes of our example, this $25 an hour number, knowing that for some people it will be less than that. Okay. So I'm going to use a $25 an hour example. Okay. Now here's the thing that I saw. All right. When you're marketing as a marketer, as an entrepreneur in the marketing space, one of the things that I always want to do, and one of the things I want you to get in this webinar, is you want to be able to identify the frustrations, the agonies, the pain points of your target audience. From a marketing perspective, I deal primarily with marketers, and I know that the pains of my target market is that most people are not good at marketing, and thereby most people do not make any money. So just think this through for just a moment. Now, all of a sudden, let's assume it's gold. All right, you've got my disclaimers. Could be crap, could be crap, could be crap. Now let's assume for the rest of the webinar that it's gold, that these guys and guyettes are able to deliver on what they're saying. All right, now think this through first from a marketing perspective. Now you're going to be able to share with marketers all across the globe from all stripes a way that they can generate revenue up to $250 a week, up to roughly $1,000 a month, without them having to recruit or sponsor or sell anything. Now notice, nobody's on an auto ship. Nobody's on a monthly subscription. I will say, this is me talking. I haven't heard this from the company. So here's my asterisk. I will say, don't be surprised if there is an affiliate fee. We see a lot of companies that have an affiliate fee, $9.95 a month, $19.95 a month, $24.95 a month, and that helps the company cover the cost of processing payouts and things of that nature. I'm not saying that's going to be the case. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but if that's the case, we're not going to foo-foo and say this thing is crap. All right, we're going in understanding that may happen again. That's coming from me, not coming from THW. All right, so $250 a week potential, $1,000 a month potential, and for the marketer. Now, think this through, because when I first saw this, I wasn't thinking about the marketer. When I first saw this, I thought about my brother-in-law, Jamie. Love my brother-in-law. Help my wife lost her mom when my mom was real young, and actually my brother-in-law really helped to raise my wife. All right, I love my brother-in-law, but he's not an entrepreneur. He may never be an entrepreneur. My uncle just turned 65 years young. Love him to life, but he's not an entrepreneur. And at 65, he probably won't ever become an entrepreneur. But I know he could use an extra $1,000 a month. I know my brother-in-law could use an extra $1,000 a month. I know my father and my mom, who are in their 70s, and my dad just had surgery, I know they could use an extra $1,000 a month. And if they could garner that $1,000 a month from the privacy of their own home and simply watching promotional content, well, why wouldn't I share that with them? And so now all of a sudden, you're not just talking about marketers, you're talking about everyday people. Think of it in the U.S. How many people had just stopped looking for work because they couldn't find it? All right. How many people are working a second job? Well, and that second job in many cases is not generating $250 a week. So now a couple of hours, maybe they don't have to go outside the home to work a second job being away from the kids. Maybe they get to stay home with the kids and view promotional content. Okay, so what you want to commit to is maximizing your viewing income. Now, I need to say this, and we'll talk about this more in the second part of the webinar. I need to say this. I have been saying to our audience, hey, go out and outsource that. Go and hire somebody from the Philippines, pay them $4 or $5 an hour, and you keep the difference. And that way if you don't have to watch the content. I was corrected from someone from THWGlobal corporate saying, no, you can't do that. And as I thought about it, and I forgot who it was that emailed me and said, yeah, I didn't think that would work out. As I thought about it, we certainly don't want to be pitching that, because we want companies doing business with THWGlobal, because those companies believe that we are going to be watching content, not just sitting at, having our dog watch the content. Okay. So I won't be saying that. I won't be promoting that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually commit 10 hours a week. I'm going to do a couple hours a day, or I might do more hours on a weekend or what have you. All right. I'm going to do my 10 hours. And this is what I want you to commit to, your 10 hours weekly. I want you to make that firm commitment, because that gives you your maximum income from viewing. Now, let's go to starting to build a team. Now, the system's going to pay you $5 override, up to $5 override for anyone that you personally refer. This IV stands for international viewer. Anyone that you refer is your IV, your personally referred, personally sponsored IV, international viewer. Okay, so let's say that your viewer, all right, so let's say that you referred Keith Russell. All right, hey Keith, how you doing, buddy? So you refer Keith Russell, and Keith watches 1 hour's worth of promotional content. Keith, let's say, makes $25. you are going to earn $5 for the hour that Keith viewed content. Now, what if Keith views 10 hours for the week? You got $5 times the 10 hours for the week. What if Keith viewed 40 hours for the month? Keith made $1,000. Congratulations, Keith. Maybe that helps him pay his mortgage. Maybe that helps him get out of debt. Maybe he sets some money aside if he follows what we teach to build the enterprise. All right, because he now maybe has a marketing budget. That's what we'll be teaching with our audience. So you referred Keith. Keith did his viewing. You earn $5 per hour, up to $5 per hour, $50 a week, up to $50 a week, $200 per month. So every personal referral, Marcus, every personal referral, Renee, that you have, Ron, could be worth $200 per month to you. And Keith Russell is not on auto ship. Keith Russell is not on a monthly subscription. Keith Russell joined THW for how much? Free. Then he viewed his content. Let's say he maxed out his viewing content. He made his maybe $1,000 for the month. You personally enrolled Keith. You generated, Larry, $200 in this example per month. Now, what if you had 10 Keiths? Now you've got $2,000 potential a month from their viewing. What if you have 100 Keiths? Well, I'm not good at recruiting. I'm not good at sponsoring. I'm not good at that stuff. Well, if you will do what we will teach you to do, which is to take your viewing income and treat that as a seed and use that viewing income as a marketing budget. Some of you will do all of it. Some of you will do parts of it. All right. But if you did that consistently, we're going to show you ways to drive traffic to your site. Guys, people are registering for free. So the barriers to entry are, you won't get into lower barriers to entry than free. Now, we don't want people just joining you for free and then not viewing the content, which is why we're spending this amount of time on this type of webinar. Well, why do we need to take time out to talk about you joining something for free? Because we don't want you just to join for free, and we don't want your people just to join for free. We want them to join and view content and max out the content. Because when that happens, they make up to $1,000. You, if you are the referrer, make up to $200 per. So in time, I want every single one of you. I don't care, Linwood, if you've never recruited a soul in your business. PJ, I don't care if you struggled in marketing. If you would just follow, my gosh, what we're teaching, assuming this is gold, I expect every single one of you, Sim, to ultimately refer not just 100, but 100 that will view content for 10 hours a week. That's 20 grand a month right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's 20 grand a month. Do the math. Then, this is really where the big money is. The big money is not with you viewing your content. That's a start, and that's going to be a seed for many of you. The big money isn't even the people that you personally enroll that view their content. You should be ultimately in the Centennial Club, where you've got 100 personal enrollees, but I want to take it up, not just 100 personal enrollees, but 100 personal enrollees that are actively viewing, so that you're generating huge incomes, which, by the way, they're going to pay on a weekly basis, okay? All right, now here's the big money. The big money is as you start to build out a 10-level organization. So let's make sure we understand this, okay? You refer Yvette Lemon Tolliver. What a name. You know I love that name, Yvette, okay? You refer Yvette. Yvette views 10 hours a week, 40 hours a month. Yvette makes her $25 an hour, let's say. She makes her $250 a week, her $1,000 a month. You make your $5 for every hour she views. You make your $50 a week, assuming she viewed 10 hours a week. You make your $200 override for the month, assuming she maxed out, okay? Now, Yvette refers Roger Waters. And so Yvette is on your first level. Roger is on your second level. When Roger views, Roger gets his 25 bucks. Yvette gets her 5 per hour. You get $1 per hour because Roger is on your second level. You referred Yvette. Yvette's on your first. Yvette referred Roger. Roger is on your second level. Roger then refers Tyrone Lofton. Tyrone is on your third level. You still pick up $1. Tyrone refers William Nugent, and William's on your fourth level. You pick up $1. And William then refers Vernetta. She's on your fifth level. So you have a 10-level organization. In a unilevel, you have unlimited width, meaning you can refer as many people as you want. So everyone that you personally refer, you're talking $25 an hour when they view. You have 10 levels worth of depth, which means in time, you should have hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands. If I mess around with you, you'll probably get to hundreds of thousands in your organization. Right now, in a week's time, with no paid advertising, I haven't done one paid ad yet, okay? With no funnel-based system, which is an automated way to start to share the message. We haven't done anything that's automated yet. We're working on that. We'll have that, okay? With none of that stuff, you know, we're at just under 3,000 on our team with a lot of, is it crap? I don't know. Is it gold? I don't know. What happens if they come through? And now we can do some videos of our actual viewing. And now we've got testimonies of people actually making money. What do you think is going to happen then? What do you think is going to happen when somebody goes to Craigslist and they start advertising on Craigslist, hey, earn up to $25 an hour, and people that join maybe aren't marketers, they're just looking for a part-time gig? What do you think is going to happen when a college kid on campus earns up to $250 a week and starts sharing it with other college kids? What do you think is going to happen with people that graduated from college who aren't working in their field and they have student loans and they could use that extra $1,000? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen when there is a retiree concerned about his or her retirement and they start making up to $1,000? And who do they know? Other retirees. So what do you think is going to happen? Without the barriers to entry. Why shouldn't you in time have tens of thousands of people, perhaps even hundreds of thousands of people in your 10-level organization? Think this through, ladies and gentlemen. Let's say in time you've got 10,000 people in your 10-level organization. I'm not even talking about your personal referred folks, okay? And let's say we want everybody to do 10 hours, all right? Will everybody do 10 hours? Probably not, but we're going to push. Because if we get people buying into $10 an hour, 10 hours a week, excuse me, maybe they don't all do 10 hours, but maybe the average of everyone in your organization is 2 hours. Somebody does 10, somebody does nothing. You do the math on that. That's an average of 5 hours a week per person. All right, you got 100 people, 50 of them do 10, 50 of them don't do jack. You know, you're averaging 5 hours times those 100. So let's just say you average 2 hours. You grow a large organization. Not everybody gets this message. They just average 2 hours. That's 20,000 hours a week that you're earning $1 on. Think about that. That's $20,000 times 4 weeks. This puts you almost on a 7-figure pace. And again, I don't want you thinking, hey, I'm not good at networking, because we're going to take a seed. Now I'm starting to move into the second part of the webinar now. All right, we're going to take our seed, that viewing income, and we're going to leverage that for marketing, so that you're going to have a paid marketing budget and you're going to consistently be driving traffic and capturing leads. And we're going to have a very a number of different presentations for maybe different markets and what have you. Very powerful. So for instance, what if we did a presentation that specifically was geared to retirees? So those people that you know are retirees, we speak retiree language. And what if we had a presentation that was specifically geared towards our millennials? Okay. What if we had a presentation that was specifically geared for our baby boomers and things of that nature? So that if you knew, now when you're doing paid marketing, there might be a general presentation, but if you've met somebody, you know somebody, you came across somebody, maybe there's a specific presentation that kind of hits that audience. That's what we're going to be building. When I talk about building a funnel, ladies and gentlemen, if this thing is gold, I'm pulling out all the stops. And we'll develop these presentations so that you can have these presentations. You can share these presentations so that you can build your organizations. Because I want to see you build. I think 10,000 is, guys, we're at 3,000. We ain't done jack. We ain't done nothing. All we did was send out a couple of emails. Why you need to have an email list. I had a few other people send out some emails. Why you want to create that culture of people having an email and a SMS text list. And nobody, at least I haven't, spent any money on advertising yet. That right here, 10,000 folks in your 10-level organization. I didn't say you recruited 10,000. 10,000 folks in your 10-level organization, if they just average 2 hours a week, that's 20,000 hours a week. You get $1 per hour. That's $20,000 a week in income. And if that happens 4 times a month, you're at $80,000 a month. $83,333 is what it takes to get to 7 figures. Let me stop for just a moment. How many of you see that as being realistic? Especially if you've got a marketing budget. How many of you say, I can see that? If this doc dude is 3,000 and he hadn't even spent 1 penny in advertising, I can see that. And if you can't see that right now, it just means you need to be around somebody who can stretch your vision. That's all that means. So keep following. Don't stop following. Keep following. Okay. All right. Now, I want to share some things with you that happened over the last day that really encouraged me because, we're still saying, is it crap? Is it gold? We don't know, so on and so forth. So I want to share something with you. Give me just a moment. All right. So we did a webinar on Tuesday, and we sent out that webinar to our email list, and we also posted that particular webinar on YouTube. And in the webinar, we talked about, at the time we were saying, hey, to maximize your viewing, let's make sure everybody views their 10 hours. Hey, why don't you go over to the Philippines? All right, you go online, Google Philippines, Google outsourcing or private virtual assistant, Philippines, so on and so forth. And you could hire someone to do your viewing and maybe pay them $4 or $5 an hour. You get the 25, you keep the difference, and your viewing gets done. All right. So now I want to address this. Is this a scam? Because obviously THW Global is growing at a tremendous clip, and you're going to have a couple of camps. You're going to have the camp that is euphoric, that is promoting, and they really don't even know what they're promoting. They just kind of got caught up in the hype. And then you're going to have your camp that says, oh, that's too good to be true. It's a scam, because they've been scammed, so often, or they've seen so many scams. So, I believe in having a healthy sense of what's the word I'm thinking of? Skepticism. I think some skepticism can be healthy. All right. So in any event, this happened yesterday, I think, or maybe today, where here's this video from the webinar where I'm talking about outsourcing. And right down here, I get a message. It was yesterday. I get a message from a gentleman by the name of Franz Wilhelm. Okay, I don't know. I know he's not English speaking. Someone said that this is a German name, and the company, I think, is out of Germany. And what he said was, no one can outsource the watching. Ads are specific to the IV, international viewer, who signed up. Now, my initial reaction was, crud, Renee. Crud, Robert. Crud, Rosemary. I wanted to be able to outsource that. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. How did he know I talked about outsourcing? The only way he knew that is he had to watch this video. And so I went through the video to see, when did I start talking about outsourcing? I started talking about outsourcing in the 36th minute of an hour and 13-minute video. Well, wait a minute. If this was a scam, why would he even care? If this was an outright scam, why would he sit through 36 minutes of my content and he didn't know when I was going to say that. Why would he do that? Now, there's a difference between a company executing on what their game plan is and a scam. A scam is just an outright scam. They lied. They never had any intent on fulfilling their promises. And do those happen all the time? They happen online. They happen offline. They happen in traditional business, so on and so forth. But as a scam artist, I just don't understand, if this is just a scam, why would you sit through 36 minutes of my content when you don't know? You have no idea when I was going to say that. You didn't know that I was going to say that necessarily. And you watched the content and you said, oh, no. Let me correct you. No. All right, I'm with THWGlobal Corporate. No one can outsource watching. Now, that was yesterday. So what I did today is I sent out an email, and I also made a post on YouTube saying, hey, I said bad news. Now, some of you that got my email, it said bad news about THW. All right, why did I use that? Because unfortunately, bad news travels faster than good news. This is a marketing tip for you. All right. So the way I framed it was bad news, and the bad news was we can't outsource. All right. But I framed that in the email so people would open up the email and they would click on the video, and then they would find out that the bad news is we can't outsource. But hey, here's the good news. Here's the flip side of that. This dude who says he's part of corporate, I don't know that he is or is not. I've got nothing to prove that he isn't. So I've got to take him at his word. Okay. He says, no, you can't do that. Well, to me, that says this is not scam. Why would you do all that? All right. So I posted the video that says, hey, we can't do that. I won't be saying that going forward. All right. So now I get another post. Queen, this is the one that I don't think you saw. This came 3 hours ago. So in this post, in this video, this is the video I sent out to our email list. In this video, I said, hey, guys, I won't be saying that anymore. You know what? I heard from somebody from corporate. I like that. I don't like the fact I can't outsource, but I understand why I can't outsource now. And boy, I like the fact that they responded. This thing may not be a scam. This thing may not be crap. Now, we still have to see them execute. All right. But at least from a scam standpoint, it brought down my scam barometer quite a bit. All right. So look at what Franz says here. He says, thank you for clearing up the outsourcing. Then he says what his name is. All right. And in the video, there were some people, maybe they're opportunists, maybe, I don't know what the intent of their heart were, but there were some people that were basically saying, THW is a scam. And there was one lady I saw, and she was saying, well, I heard that the person that's behind it is this person, and this person's scam folks and what have you. But she never showed any proof of anything. All right. And so what he says is, I don't know this name, Mr. Coomer, but maybe that was the person behind it, said who made up the name of someone behind THWGlobal. So apparently somebody started a rumor. This happens very easily online because you don't have to really verify stuff. People can lie all day long. I've got my share of haters. I got a couple bloggers. They don't like me. And I even said, hey, why don't we do an interview? Since you got questions about me, you want to call me out, you want to question my character, let's do an interview. Let's do a webinar together. Let's record it. That way you have it for your blog and I've got it for my folks. And the only thing I ever got was they deleted my posts on the blog. So now you don't even know I posted that blog. I remember that being in Chile, going to Chile in the airport. So people can say anything they want to say. And unfortunately, a lot of things take on a life of their own, even though they may not be true. So what he says is that THWGlobal has already had warned their legal department that whoever this person was that was maybe spreading untruths. That sounds like my mom. My mom doesn't say the word lie. She says untruth. All right. He said not only was he warned, but he was also warned the CEO of the company he was trying to divert people to. So he goes on, read more. Dozen people looking at all internet postings. So I know they're looking at internet postings because this was not the same video that he originally posted on. He posted on the video that I posted from our Tuesday night webinar. And now he comes back and he sees this post and he is commenting on it. If you are scamming, why the heck would you spend time going through looking at YouTube content to respond to? Why would you do that? You're registering people at over 1,000 members an hour. You've got how many folks now? 162,000. You don't have to do that if you're a scam dude. Just let people be in the euphoria. The fact that you're doing this tells me, or at least leads me to believe, there could be some legitimacy here, ladies and gentlemen. And this is why I told Queen, help me stay, level-headed. Let me not get too excited because I don't want to excite people with euphoric stuff and then things don't come to pass. We're big boys and big girls. We're not spending any money. We understand what the potential risks are that they don't come through. I don't think it would be a scam. It could be that they just don't execute. But what if they do? What if they do, Kevin? What if they do, Kirk? What if they do? By the way, isn't it time that finally something works? Isn't it time? I mean, isn't it time? It's been a while, right? Tom, it's been a while. It's time. It's time. Oh, okay, all right. Okay, all right. So let's go back here. Give me a moment. Let's go back. Okay. He then says, we want you to know we have a full in-house legal department along with a legal firm that spans the globe. We are serious about protecting our future brand, THWGlobal. Okay, so this is France responding back to me on a different video. He's saying, hey, thank you for clearing this up. Thank you for letting people know you won't be doing the outsourcing or talking about outsourcing, what have you. I come back here and I say, look, thanks so much for making the post. It certainly bolsters confidence, and I will share your post with our audience. I would love if you could connect with me directly. If this is the real deal, I will shout it from the rooftops. We'll help mobilize an army to get the message out. I would love to get more insight so I can share that with our following. If you're open to that, please connect with me. Okay. He comes back to me. He says, I would do so, but my English is very poor. There will be many in management in the U.S. that you will hear from in the near future. Many Americans can be skeptical because there's so much fraud in your country. He doesn't know that that's not my country anymore. But anyway, there's so much fraud in your country. He says, this is not the case in Germany. When people defraud here, they go to jail very quickly, okay? So my whole point here, Queen, this is what I told you hadn't seen yet. My whole point here is this seems to be going way above and beyond what one would need to go above and beyond if it was just a scam, all right? I don't believe it's just a scam. The idea of them being able to go to advertisers saying that we have a captive audience, set of eyeballs that will watch your content. That is very valuable to advertisers, extremely valuable. So they'll charge the advertisers. Instead of charging us, they'll charge the advertisers. We'll get paid the 25, the 5, and the 1, or the up to 25, 5, and 1. I'm assuming it's gold. I'm talking as if it's gold. And we'll also get paid. We'll get paid every week, Queen. That was a post where they talked about that. We'll get paid every week. We'll get paid. You can get paid via PayPal. You can get paid via global pay card. You know, I don't know what system they might use. Maybe something like an iPayout or GPG. We've seen systems like that. Bitcoin. You can get paid by Bitcoin, so on and so forth. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that we were clear on that so that you have more confidence. I will continue to promote with my disclaimers, but I'm going to promote nonetheless. And I'm going to gear up more of my promotion. Now, I haven't done any paid advertising just yet. I will plan on doing that. I may wait until we see actual viewing, or I may just go on and do a test campaign. I might do a solo ad, for instance, or what have you. Now, what I want to do, and I'm sorry, I should have let you know that I planned for this webinar a little bit more content. And I should have prepared you for 90 minutes versus 60 minutes. So if you were only planning on 60 minutes, I understand that. If you opted in to come into tonight's webinar, we're going to send this webinar out via that email list. We are not going to send out any personal referral links to that email list, by the way, because we know a lot of people that are on the webinar were not personally enrolled by us. And some people on the webinar may not even be in our organization. That maybe they ran across some stuff we were doing on YouTube, or someone else told them about us, or what have you. What I want to do, I want to spend 30 minutes here. All right, so if you can stick around, you definitely want to. I want to talk about scaling this to a 6- and 7-figure business. And I also want to talk about what our game plan is, assuming this is gold, to build this out and to develop a funnel-based system so that you can leverage this funnel-based system to build up your referral network. I want you to ultimately have 100 people that you personally refer this view in 10 hours, which means if you do that or even come close to it, and your 100 people get this message, then what's going to happen on your second level? And what's going to happen on your third? So I want you to have thousands upon thousands that even if the average is only 2 hours a week versus 10 hours, but if you got 10,000 people doing that, you got a 7-figure pace. You have a 7-figure pace. All right. So now let me share with you. I got 30 minutes here. Okay. The first thing, let's give you some new content. If you were here on Tuesday, let's give you some things that you didn't hear on Tuesday. What we're going to do is we're going to build out a funnel-based system. And what a funnel is a sales process. All right, very, very key. All right, it's a sales process by which you educate your audience. We could say your opt-ins. Let's say you've got an email list or a text list or what have you. You educate your audience about the solutions that you have to their struggles or their problems. Okay, so what's happening now is that most people that are promoting THWGlobal don't know much about marketing. All right, and I went through we can go through one of my give me a moment, let me find one of my videos and I'll give you an example. And if you happen to be one of these folks, I'm not picking on you, give me a moment. Bear with me. Let's do this one. With very little work. Okay. All right. One of the things, if you follow what we teach, you're going to learn how to market. All right. This is how you do not market. And Marlene, if you're here, I'm not here to pick on you. All right. So what's been happening quite a bit is I've had people come to my videos and they would do things like, hey, I think it's gold, and then put their personal referral link on my YouTube. Don't do that. That's unprofessional. All right. That's extremely unprofessional. It's not cool to spam on somebody else's content. That's just not professional, okay? But you can see how many people have done that. A lot of people have done that. And so I just give them a message and say, you know, I haven't deleted it. I just give them a message because I'm hoping that they'll start to learn how to market. So one of the things we're going to do is we're developing a funnel-based system, which is going to be a sales process, all right? Now, a funnel-based system needs to be automated. I love the fact that you've come on this live webinar, Shelly. I love that. And Sean, we will continue to promote, continue to have live webinars. Some of them will be presentation oriented for the new person. Some of them will be training oriented. All right. And I do these live webinars. I love it. All right. It's fun for me. So Richard, I love being able to connect with our folks and feeling the synergies of folks being on a live webinar. But in terms of a sales process, you want to have something that's automated so that, Rosemary, when someone sees your advertisement, when someone sees your information, they can immediately get a good, solid, answering questions, providing solutions, presentation. See, what most people are simply doing is they're saying, hey, join me, join me, join me. They're not giving people solutions. They're not giving them value, all right? And somebody emailed me, and they were trying to get me into THWGlobal. I was already in, and I just looked at the email. There was no value in the email whatsoever. What we want to do, and which is what we'll teach you to do, is you want to always provide value. Why did that guy, when he got an email from me, why did he join me instead of joining someone else? Okay? He joined me because he knows that I provide value. He's in my email list. He's getting several communications a week. Even when I didn't have something to promote, I would always send out something that was value-based that would help him or anybody else build a business. And sometimes it wasn't training. Sometimes it was, hey, let's take a mental vacation break. And there was a 5-minute video where we went to Hawaii. Or sometimes it was a personal empowerment video. Or sometimes it was a comic. Well, we found a clean comic, and it made me laugh. I sent it out to my audience, made them laugh. We brought value. And so what we're going to do with these funnel-based systems is it'll be a sales process. It's going to educate your audience about the solutions that you have to their struggles. So these will be automated sales presentation systems. But it's not just going to be one. We'll do one that is specific to the non-networker, just the person who's looking to make some money. That's not going to be an hour-long event, all right? That's going to be fairly short, designed to get them to join with you, all right? And then they can hear the rest of the message, so on and so forth. We'll ultimately do one that's geared more for the marketer and geared more for the builder, all right, who I can tell you right now, there's a whole bunch of builders that are not even in yet that you probably know because they don't have enough information. And when they hear free, it's a free system and you're going to make money. Yeah, right. It's the same thing I thought. I just took the time to go through the content. They're building their thing. They're doing their thing. They haven't taken the time. So we'll ultimately have a sales presentation specifically designed for them. And so those of you that follow us intimately, you'll be able to leverage those various sales processes. So if you are prospecting someone that fits into this particular category, you send them the appropriate funnel. Okay? All right. So that's what we have in store designed for our audience, and we've already begun working on it. Okay? All right. So now a sales process isn't just a presentation. A sales process is just that. It's a process. It isn't just the presentation. A sales process also means a robust follow-up sequence. Okay? The fortune is in the follow-up. Let me tell you what's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of people that's going to hear about THW Global, and they're just going to shove it off as crap. They're just going to shove it off as one of their thingies. They're just going to shove it off because so many people are now starting to talk about it. Most people aren't talking about it from a standpoint of bringing value. All right, so what you're going to want to have is a system where you're capturing the lead, all right, because the majority of people don't join, don't buy, doesn't matter what it is. The majority of people don't join, don't buy the first time they see and or hear. So the process is going to include a robust follow-up sequence that you're going to be able to leverage, and you'll be able to use that sequence whether you're sending it via email, whether you're sending a link via text, whether you're posting it to your Facebook, or whether you're tweeting that out or what have you. All right. Now, here's the problem that most marketers have. Most marketers, one, don't have a list. We'll talk about a list in just a few moments, how you're going to be able to start to grow a list, all right, an email list, and then ultimately a text list. But even if they have a list, one of the struggles they have is being able to communicate value to that list. So here's how you make money online or make money with mobile. You build a list. I'm in training mode now. So hopefully, if you're not taking notes, well, this is recorded, okay? You build a list. You build a bond with that list. Now, this is where the list building part is the easy part. You got a couple $100. You go and buy a solo ad. You know, you might have, you buy a 500 click solo ad, meaning 500 people go to your site, 1,000 people go to your site, so on and so forth. You're going to get people opting into your list. That's simple. That's not difficult. Now, what do you do with that list once you have the list? This is where you have to communicate consistently. You have to communicate value consistently to that list. You can't just be a pitch fest. It can't just be join me, join me, join me, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. And if you do have join me, join me, join me, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, which actually it's okay to say join me, join me, join me, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, so long as you frame that, so long as you wrap that pitch in value, Melanie. And that's where most marketers struggle because most marketers don't make money. All right, so they don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. They're not content creators. Most people aren't cutting videos. They're not comfortable doing videos. If you take a look at YouTube, go to YouTube and search for THW Global and look at the number of people that are using my videos on their channel. But then if you go check out their channel, they've got nothing else. Which, by the way, I never put anything on YouTube that I am not willing for people to leverage. So, hey, if you go to YouTube and you see a video of mine and you want to put it on your channel, have at it. I got no problem with that. Just don't come spam my channel. Just don't come to my channel putting your link on there. That's not professional, okay? All right, so what we're going to have, now most of my content and this content that we're talking about here that you're going to be able to leverage, you'll have the option to be able to leverage, that won't be YouTube. That'll be content that I will keep very guarded because that's my intellectual property, if you will. But for those of you that follow what we're doing intimately, you'll be able to leverage it. It just won't go on YouTube. Okay? So you'll have your own email list. You'll have your own text list. So when people opt in, maybe they join right away. That's good. But there's a difference in someone joining and a difference in someone actually really buying in. See, here's the challenge with a free deal. Okay? The challenge with a free deal is that people treat it as what? Free. So what we want to do is we not only want people joining you, Robert Hewitt, we want people not only joining you, PJ, we want people not only joining you, Paula Miller, we want people joining you, and we want those folks viewing, and we want those folks in time, maybe right away or maybe down the road, saying, hey, I think I want to build a network, because now that person and their organization, is it Kellen or Keelan? It's a part of your organization. Okay. So what we will have is we will call this a value vault. Some of you who followed us intimately, you've heard that before. But this value vault will include information training that is valuable to that person, whether they join you right now or not. See, here's how you build. This is how you monetize a list. All right. You build a list. You provide value consistently to that list. You build, you bond, 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 so that you ultimately monetize. You don't go straight from building to monetization in most cases. You build and you bond, you consistently provide value. So we're going to make sure that you have the proper tools so that you can build a list, an email list, and ultimately even an SMS text messaging list. You're going to have access to the value vault if you follow us intimately. We already have a training portal. We're making some modifications in that portal to support, assuming that THW is goal to support our audience in building out THW Global. And this is how you monetize. So now I've got 16 minutes. Okay, so here's the idea. All right, here's what we want you to do. Now, if this is not you, that's fine. We're going to love you just the same. But I want the folks who are going to be gamers. All right, meaning your game. Now, what does this mean? All right. So here's what this will be our message. This will be our team culture. And even if you're not on our team, maybe you stumbled across our content on YouTube and you found out about the webinar, you joined someone else. Listen. Let's always build with integrity. So if you join John, and John maybe has no knowledge of who we are or what have you, you don't stop building your business with John. You don't say, well, hey, I'm going to go over and now I'm going to register with Martha because she's following this doc dude. No. All right, because the rules of the universe that were here before we got here will be here long after we're gone. Whoever you initially registered with, whether they follow us or not, you keep your registration with them. They got you here, however they got you here to THW Global. They should be the ones that get the financial benefit for sharing it, even if you didn't know them, even if you just saw something in Skype or Facebook or what have you. You can follow us, and everything that we're talking about, you'll have the option to be able to use to build your business. We understand the laws of the universe, which says this. See, I want to get, orb. But I understand the laws of the universe means that I have to give. If I give, I'll get. Okay, here's what we want you to do. We want you to covenant this, that your viewing income. Okay, so we want you, well, first off, we want you to covenant. That's a strong word. It's a lot stronger than just commit. We want you to covenant, that you will max out your viewing income. All right, so that even means me. The speed of the leader is the speed of the group. So I was going to send it to the Philippines. Can't do that. Guess what? I'm going to make the time to max out my viewing income. Why? Well, what that does is that gives me a seed. That means I'm going to earn up to $1,000 a month. Okay. All right. That means you're going to earn up to $1,000 a month. We're going to use that as a seed. What that also means is that the person that referred me is going to get the maximum of up to $200 a month from my viewing. And that 10 other people in the organization going up are going to get up to $40 a month. I don't know if I really made that clear. Anybody in your 10-level organization, if they max out their viewing, you're getting $1 override. If they max out their viewing 40 hours a month, you're getting $40. Someone on your 9th level, your 10th level. So when this afternoon, I noticed that in your back office now, they show you how many people you have on each level. And so that's how I know we're just under 3,000 folks on our team right now. Just think that through. If 3,000 folks, I'm not even talking about my personally enrolled. If 3,000 folks average 2 hours of viewing a week, that's $6,000, 6,000 hours of views times $1. We're in pre-launch, and we could come out of the gate with multiple 5 figures a month. That's how powerful this could be. Okay, now here's what I want you to do. I've got 12 minutes, got to do it quick. All right, now from this viewing income that you receive, I want you to covenant that a minimum of 50% to as much as 100% will go towards marketing. Some of you need the money. All right. So for those that need the money, you know, if you made up to $1,000, maybe you need $500, you know, to pay bills, get caught up. I get that. Okay. But I want you to commit at least 50% of this viewing income. Look at this as the start of your marketing budget. The reason so many people don't have a list or are not consistently adding people to their list is because they don't have a marketing budget. If you want to build a list and build it right, build it fast instead of building it slow, you've got to commit to paid marketing. You've got to commit to paid advertising. Okay. If you look at how big business works, that big business, it doesn't work by just talking to friends and family and relatives. Big business works through what? Advertising. This entire income opportunity is based on big business spending advertising dollars that, you know, we're watching their content. So we need to take the same approach that big business takes to get people to viewing our content. Our content could be them going to your lead capture page, watching the sales video, going to one of our automated funnels will be a webinar funnel that you'll be able to leverage, where we'll record one of our webinars. You'll be able to have access to it. You'll have your own webinar system. You never have to do the webinar yourself. And now you can drive people to a webinar. Webinars convert tremendously well because in a webinar, people are used to spending at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half, because it's more content rich than just a sales video. And with the webinar system that we'll recommend that you use, that webinar can play essentially 24 hours a day. It's a simulated webinar. So you're in the US and you've got somebody who saw your advertisement in Australia. They don't have to wait to a Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern to get onto a webinar to get the information. They'll be able to watch that content that's convenient to them. And with the system that we'll be recommending to you, we'll have calls to action. So we'll say, hey, popping up now, you should see the registration link where you can go on and register for free with THWGlobal with the person that got you to the webinar. And voila, what will pop up will be your link. Now, you'll have to get the webinar system that we're talking about. But see, that costs money for that webinar system. Well, where does that money come from? Right here. Right here. So when I'm saying marketing, I'm not just talking about advertising. I'm talking about having the tools, having the resources so that you can build your list, having the tools and the resources so that you can have a screen capture software. In time, I would love for you, if you are one that's articulate, if you're one that feels comfortable training and teaching, what have you, in time, I'd love for you to cut your own content. But maybe you don't want to put your mug in front of the camera. Notice, you don't see me anymore. Some of you who follow me from way back, you used to see me put my mug in front of the camera. You haven't seen me put my mug in front of the camera in quite some time. Part of that is because I want you to see that you can create video content without having to put your mug in front of the camera if you don't want to. Okay, so 50% to 100% going towards marketing. And obviously a good part of that marketing should be advertising, getting people to your site. All right, not just your replicated THW site, getting people to your site so that they opt in and you capture the lead. And whether they join you or not, they're in your lead list. And you can continue to communicate with them because some of those people will wind up joining you down the road. All right, some of those people, if they don't join you THW, for whatever reason, doesn't resonate. I don't understand why, but for some reason it doesn't resonate. Maybe you have something else that you share with your list that resonates with them that helps you to monetize the list. So real quickly, let me just show you some of the numbers as it comes to list monetization. All right. So the standard, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, I don't know what the word eludes me right now. What you're targeting is that every lead in your list, your email list, your SMS text list, should be worth about $1 per month per lead. Okay, so you grow a list to 10,000. Not everybody's bought, not everybody's joined, but you have enough people in there that buy and join that you should be making $10,000 a month. Now, I'm going to tell you that's with traditional products and services to offer. This is so much more, because now you have the potential of generating $200 a month per person that joins you in the business side. $40 a month for people throughout your organization. So you recruit one dudette, you're just one recruit away from an explosion. Again, I referred one dude who had 192 personal referrals in 24 hours. And one of his dudes had 125 referrals. And not to mention all his folks that have 2 and 3 and 15 and 17 and 38 and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. So here's the deal. $1 per month per lead is what you are targeting. That's kind of the measuring stick when it comes to list building. So let's say, for instance, let's say that you got let's say you did a $500 advertising campaign. And let's say that $500 got you, we'll say, 500 clicks to your website. All right, there's a lot of places you can go and get 500 clicks to your website for less than $500. A lot of places you can go that would cost more than $500. Now remember, your offer, you're going to have a lead capture page. And if you don't have lead capture software and all that good stuff, this is what comes from your marketing budget. Okay. All right. So you're going to have lead capture software. All right. So that you can capture the lead. And there's going to be messaging that basically lets people know that they can make money and there's something in there that's free. All right. That way they give you their best email address. All right. So typically when you're doing a campaign like that, what you want to see is that if you get 500 clicks or visits, if you're new, a click is someone who clicked on to go to your website, a visitor to your website. What you're normally looking for in email marketing, you're looking for about a 25% conversion rate, meaning 25% of the folks that land on your page actually opt in. All right, let's do the numbers real quickly. Got to hurry up. Times. Oh, crap. I just remembered. I was supposed to record the NBA draft. Crap. I didn't. All right. All right, so that's 125 leads. All right, that's 125 leads in that example. Now, typically, you have a 1% to a 5% conversion rate of lead to sale or lead to recruit. All right, so if you've got 125 leads, typically on the high end, you would get 6 people to join you. On the low end, you'd get like 1.25, one person to join you. I'm going to say 3% here, okay? I'm going to say 3%. It may be higher because it's a free deal. Because normally when you are doing this type of campaign, you're wanting people to buy something or you're wanting people to join something where they're, whipping out the credit card. That's not the case here, okay? All right, so let's say 3%. So let's say that you just recruited 3.75. We'll just round that up. And let's say you recruited 4 people from your advertising campaign. Now, where did the money come from? Did it come out of your pocket? Well, technically, yeah, but it really came from sweat equity. You did your viewing. You took a percentage of your viewing income, 50% to 100%, and that became part of your marketing budget, which includes having the tools and resources and also includes advertising. So now remember that these 4 people, because if they're coming through our funnels, they're going to hear the message of covenant of maxing out their viewing. Now, it doesn't mean they're all maxed out, but we'll get more views that way than we will if we did not have that as a major part of our culture. Okay, so now you've got 4 folks. Let's say, just for sake of this example, they all maxed out. All right, they all did 40 hours a month worth of viewing. That's 160 hours a month worth of viewing with your personals, and you're getting up to $5. All right, there's $800. Well, your advertising was $500 in this example. And in this example, it is a perfect world example because they all viewed. All right. But what I think is, I think you might get more than 4 people with a properly structured message on the front end and with a good, robust follow-up on the back end. Okay. So, we'll have to see. We don't know what the numbers are. This is all conjecture at this point. All right. But I'm doing numbers based on what I've seen other marketing campaigns yield in terms of conversion rates. All right. So now, not only could you potentially have even made more money than what your advertising was, and next month you've got your $500 in this example because you're doing your max, so that becomes your steady advertising. And then as you grow your overall income, you can scale into doing more and more advertising. Okay. But now you've got, in this example, 4 folks that have joined you that are hearing the same message. And now we create a culture, not only of people that are viewing the maximum amount of content, we also create a culture of people that are actively engaged in building their list, using our content. If you've got your own content, fantastic. If you're a content creator, go for it. Using our content, if they need to kind of jumpstart things so that people are hearing that same powerful message. And now, what if they do the same thing and they all got 4, from their marketing? Now that's 16 on your second level. And then you're redoing the same thing, rinse and repeat, because you're continuing to take your seed money. All right. Look at that as a seed. If you gotta take some money right now, all right, take 50% as a max. The more you reallocate back into your business, the more folks you're going to have in your list, the more people are going to ultimately join you. Remember, everybody that joins you personally could be worth $200 a month for you. I am at my time. How many of you, if you got value out of what we've done over these last 90 minutes, in your questions box, I want to hear from you. Put a V or put value or what have you. How many of you see, oh my gosh, if this thing works out, man, fantastic, 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 fabulous, 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 good, 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 good. Okay. All right. So now let me give you just some last minute instructions here. Number 1, if you're here and you have not joined THW, get back to the person that referred you and join with them. I hope you understand our heart and spirit. All right. You don't have to join. Now, if I'm the reason that you're here, then yeah, you join with me. But if I'm not the reason that you're here, you join with the person that got you here. We are going to build systems that you're going to be able to leverage no matter who your sponsor is. Okay? Because we are going to build a huge, I'm not even going to say community, a family of people that are making money. And we've got a sense of urgency. We got to get you making money quickly because some, look at what's happening over there in the UK. Now, it looks like that they're not going to leave the European Union, but that created some chaos. And if they do leave the European Union, those economic tidal waves are going to be felt globally. And that may not be good for a lot of folks. So we've got to get people making money, not for bling bling's sake, but just to take care of your family, just to have a sense of security financially, that is. All right? Okay, so I want you to join it. Number 2. Okay, number 2. Oh, darn. I don't know what it is. Number 2, what I'm going to do is the next live webinar we're going to have is going to be on Tuesday. Okay, I'm going to use this same webinar link. So those of you that have been following us where we've been talking about mobile marketing, we're going to use this link as opposed to that link. Don't worry about that. You'll know because I'll go in. I'll make the changes. That webinar is going to be at 8 p.m. This is what I plan on doing for the immediate future. All right. What I plan on doing is I plan on Tuesday night doing a webinar that is aimed primarily at getting new people to join you or to better understand. Meaning maybe you've got some people that have joined you, but they don't quite get it. Maybe they got the buzz and the hype, but not the substance. Okay, so primarily what we'll be doing is structuring that so that new people want to join you. So you'll be able to invite people to that. If you're part of our email list, we'll be sending you out some email swipes. You know what you can send to your audience. Of course, you can send what we send, or you can send your own information or what have you. Use that as a model. Okay. On Thursdays, that's going to be at 8 o'clock. On Thursdays, for the immediate future, I'm going to use that for training. So what I've done the last 30, 45 minutes is training. Okay. I'm going to do that primarily on Thursdays. Now, I want to go back. Queen, I know this may not necessarily work best for you, but it's going to be easier if we have one set time as opposed to 8 o'clock on Tuesday and 7:30 on Thursdays. So we're going to do 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. So this is going to be more of training. You can still bring new folks. We'll do a little mentioning so people want to join you, but we're going to do more training. All right. So for instance, we might do just a whole training on a part of a funnel that we're going to design, which will be called a webinar funnel. Well, what does that mean? Why would you want to leverage that? So on and so forth. Okay. Or we might talk about, why you need to have a lead capture page, why you need to have a lead capture system. We might talk about traffic, so on and so forth. Okay. So we want to leave Thursdays for training. Now, those of you that are following us from a mobile marketing perspective, I am not setting that to the side. I'm really just waiting for our programmers to tell us we're ready to go. But since we've been waiting for that for a while, I figured that it's better for us to concentrate on THW Global because there's so much buzz, and if it works, it's going to make us so much money. So once my programming team from the mobile marketing standpoint tell us that we're ready to go, then we'll probably alter this schedule at that point. But right now, Tuesdays is going to be more of our presentation webinar. Thursdays will be more of our training webinar. And we'll have them both at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you're registered, obviously you're here, so you are registered for the webinar, then you won't have to re-register, okay? We'll just change the link. We'll just change the times, and you'll already be registered for that link. And our system will send you out a reminder. Okay, Queen, did I miss anything? Okay, Dennis, thank you. I tell you what, let's do this real quickly, and I may get called away here because I'm expecting all my children are out the house. And somebody's bringing my daughter by, and my wife, unfortunately, is not mobile right now. She has a compression fracture in her back, so she wouldn't be able to get up right now and open the door. So I may have to leave for just a few moments. Why don't we do this? Let's do this. Let's take 10 or 15 minutes for optional Q&A. If you've asked questions before, there's been a lot of communication in the questions box, so we might miss that. So go on and put your questions in now. We'll do a 15-minute Q&A. If I have to leave, I'll let you know, and it shouldn't take me long to be right back. Okay, someone said, hey, make sure you let people know. Thank you, Dennis. Make sure you let people know that they want to use a Gmail account versus a Yahoo account when registering. Yahoo was having some challenges. The Yahoo emails are being delayed by several hours. So if you have multiple accounts, it would be better for you to register with Gmail as opposed to Yahoo. Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate that. Put your questions in. I'm not seeing any questions, but maybe they came in earlier. So put those questions in now, please, if you have any.